Screenwriters have come up with ways of measuring the quality of characters and themes, but not plot. Beats and scenes exist, but they measure length, not quality, so I developed my own way, problem solving. I have videos explaining them, but you'll get the hang of it even if you haven't seen them. My main criticism of Frieren was that it was boring. Now I have a measuring stick to prove it, one that works on all genres and mediums of story. In episode 1, the first 7 minutes have absolutely zero problem solving. The characters just hang out. After 7 minutes, Frieren introduces her overarching goal of collecting spells, but there are no obstacles in the way yet. 8:40 is the first timestamp with a problem. She wants a Shadow Dragon horn, but the shop she's at doesn't have them. Her solution is to go get one from Himmel. He gives it to her. Problem solved at the 12-minute mark. The small fight as they go to see a meteor shower barely counts as problem solving since it's skimmed over. Going to see a meteor shower is a goal, but it's not a problem that is solved because they just walk there. Himmel dies at minute 14. Then around minute 17, Frieren gets the overarching goal of learning more about humans. At 20:48, we finally have another real problem. Hyder asks Frieren to take on an apprentice. She's also given the problem of deciphering a book. Episode 1 ends before any of these can be solved. So in a 20-minute episode, most of the plot consists of characters hanging around and talking. The one problem that was resolved in the episode was solved instantly with very little effort. This is atrocious, but you know what? It's the first episode, so I'll give it time to improve. I predict that the main response will be there's a lot of character development. That's not an excuse for poor plot development. Well-written stories can do good plot, character, and theme development all at the same time. Furthermore, the character development is so bare bones and simple that it doesn't make up for the other weaknesses. But there's an asterisk. There are stories with weak plot development that I've been entertained by. That is because the empty space was filled with entertaining writing that I personally found fun. Examples are Steins Gate, Monogatari, and Rascal. These three stories had very fun and witty dialogue, paired with entertaining and colorful characters that deliver them. Even though Rascal still has great plotting in episode 1, it would have still been fun without it due to the great chemistry. If you're going to have empty space with no problem solving, filling it with something entertaining is a way for me to lighten my criticisms, but Frieren doesn't do that. These characters are boring, unemotive, and lifeless. There's nothing fun about them, and the episode is just an exposition dump. Does episode 2 get better? Let's see. Frieren's problem is teaching Frieren magic. What is the solution? A montage that skips the actual progress and problem solving. A 4-year time skip. Frieren also has the problem of studying the grimoire. Can you guess what the solution looks like? Off-screen development. After another montage, Frieren solves the grimoire problem, but the result is that it doesn't have any secret for immortality. The montage also allows Frieren to solve the teaching problem, with the result being Frieren finally hitting the rock. In the 11th minute, the duo completes some pumpkin job, but I can't count that as a problem-solving cycle because it's treated like a montage. We just see the end of the job. Then they take a job from an herbalist. Clean up Himmel's statue. Take a guess at how the solution is executed. If you said off-screen, you are right. The next problem is finding blue moon weed flowers. The obstacle is that Frieren can't make them with magic, and they've died out. Her plan is to find and analyze some so she can magically conjure them. There's a montage of the search that results in failure. Then the herbalist simply gives them seeds of a related species. Why she didn't do this to begin with is beyond me. Probably a stalling tactic to extend the length of the story. By giving the seeds to a squirrel and tracking it, Frieren is able to find the flowers. Part of what makes a good problem-solving cycle is the solution. How does the character solve the problem? How clever was it? For the grimoire problem, she solves it in a montage. For the teaching problem, she solves it in a montage. For the statue problem, she solves it off-screen. The only decent problem-solving is finding the blue flower. The training specifically annoys me because there are so many interesting training sequences and stories. In Bleach, Ichigo is trained by fighting White and Zangetsu, both of which are individual problems that are entertaining to watch. In Naruto, the hero has the tree climbing, summoning, Rasengan, nature transformation, and Sage Mode training. The most interesting ones have a problem that needs to be solved. Sometimes it takes repetition, sometimes it takes intelligence. Naruto using clones for the Rasengan and wind training are clever solutions. Naruto training for summoning was entertaining to watch. Deku trained for full cow by fighting Gran Torino, and his solution to spread his quirk across his whole body was clever. I could keep going. These training scenes have clever problem solving, or are at least entertaining and dramatic. Frieren just skips all of that with the montage, making the entire cycle boring. Another issue this show has is problems that just aren't interesting ideas. I'm not saying they have to be the most high-stakes problems, but they could at least be entertaining or interesting in the context of the story. For example, every Takagi-san episode has the problem of the protagonist finding a creative way to tease his rival. It sounds dumb when I say it, but in the context of the show, where teasing without getting teased is everything, it's entertaining. The different schemes both characters come up with are fun ideas. What about Frieren? Getting a dragon horn by asking is not fun. Decoding a grimoire is not fun. Cleaning a statue is not fun. Finding flowers is not fun. These are boring ideas, but the execution is also important. Reversals, obstacles, and hard-fought victories are ways to execute a problem well. Takagi does this well with his goofy plans. Frieren does not. The tone is flatlined like a dead person. It doesn't bounce between positive and negative, or winning and losing. It's just monotone, making it even more boring. The first 9 minutes of episode 3 is just Fern following Frieren around, and the teacher buying her student an ornament. No problem solving or plot cycles, just hanging out. At minute 10, they start practicing magic combat, but I struggle to call this a cycle since it's mostly skimmed over. It literally lasts under a minute. At minute 13, there's a qual problem. They have to kill a demon she sealed many years ago. At minute 16, they actually start the solution. So because 80 years have passed since he was sealed, basic defensive magic is enough to stop what used to be his overpowered killing spell. As you can expect, they defeat it with ease. They solve the problem by using basic shields to block his attacks and a basic attack to kill him. I can't make this up. It's like the story is on a mission to be as boring as possible. So the first half of the episode is spent having no problems to solve. Then the second half brings up a problem which is only actually solved for a couple of minutes. It's also solved extremely easily. The idea that what used to be deadly has now become commonplace and mediocre over several years is an interesting idea, but that doesn't change the fact that the solution was too easy, which is a long-running flaw. This problem at least had an interesting idea behind it, but the execution was monotone again. In the next episode, episode 4, the first problem is cleaning up the shore, but they don't even do that until 4 minutes in. There's no challenge in cleaning up, they just do it while talking. By minute 7, they're done. There was a little montage here too, then they just hang out. Next they look for Flam's grimoire in a tree through a montage. They find it with low effort at the 16-minute mark. Now they have to go to Ende, which is in Oriole. They talk and info dump until the end of the episode. Same problems as usual. A lot of empty space, uninteresting problems, boring solutions. In episode 5, it takes 9 minutes of walking and talking for a problem to appear. Frieren and Fern see ghosts of people they love. Both of them shoot the ghost and kill the monster. Just like that. Problem solved at the 11th minute. Then a dragon is introduced as a problem. Frieren wants a grimoire that the dragon is blocking. They try to shoot it but it fails. Their next solution is to find Stark to help them. This starts at the 14th minute. After 2 minutes of walking and talking, they find him. The Stark problem is convincing him to help. They talk to him and give him a day to decide. That's the end of the episode. In the next episode he agrees. Problem solved easily. Now, they can return to the dragon problem. Then he defeats it on his own with ease. Another easy solution. From minute 7 to 9, that's 2 minutes of problem solving. The rest of the episode is walking and talking with boring characters. I really hate this show. The result chaining between 2 episodes was the first modicum of solid plotting. Getting Stark to join led to Stark defeating the dragon, which led to getting the grimoire. However, the amount of dead air in between and around the plot cycles is criminal. At least the idea of the problem wasn't horrible here, but the solution was not good. No tactics or creativity, he just fights it and wins. This is where I'm stopping for now. If this does well, I might continue the series. So yeah, this show did not get better. At least not enough to climb out of the grave that it dug. Now I can take the gloves off. No matter what genre you choose, I'm pretty sure I've seen significantly better plot writing in the first couple of episodes. Battle manga, schemers, helpers, romance, sports, mechas, isekai, slice of life, you name it. Basically any anime I've covered on my channel started better than Frieren. This is legitimately the bottom of the barrel for plot development. I believe there's a small group of people that believe the quality of your taste in art is proportional to the amount the art made you suffer. If a story is extremely fun with loads of spectacle, like Demon Slayer, enjoying it means you have poor tastes. But if a story is slow and boring, like Frieren, enjoying it means you have superior tastes. Other people just didn't understand it. It seems like people reward this show for being boring. I'm sure there are tons of essays and analysis talking about how great the character development is or the world building is, but even from what I've seen so far, it's just average. Character development could be a cushion for the atrocious plot development, but only if it was high quality. Frieren's character development is extremely basic. You can find that level in almost any popular anime. If you go to Mal and click the first anime of any season, that anime probably has the same level of character development. Even your average isekai or harem achieve that, despite being subgenres that are looked down upon. Mediocre character development is not how you make up for horrible plot development. I can make a video analyzing the average character development if there's enough demand for it. Don't even get me started on the themes, because it doesn't do well in that either. It's actually infuriating how hypocritical audiences are. I've seen the amount of hoops and quality that Demon Slayer and Jujutsu have to jump through just to be polarizing stories with equal fans and haters. They have to stay on their P's and Q's, making sure every fight is intense and consistent with no plot holes. They gotta make sure every antagonist is personal, every side character needs development. One slip up creates a wave of backlash. Meanwhile, Frieren is over here with subpar writing that falls far below the bar, yet the consensus is somehow that it's one of the greatest anime of the decade. It's ridiculous how standards change depending on the story or genre. It's one of the many reasons that you can't trust the popular opinion. To recap, these are the biggest problems regarding the plot development in the episodes. There are not enough plot cycles in each episode, and there is too much empty space. There's no fun to make up for the empty space, like charismatic characters and witty dialogue. The ideas for problems are bad. The solutions for problems are bad, often being simple or skipped. And finally, the execution of problem solving is monotone. There are no reversals that maintain engagement. All of these problems combined results in an incredibly and uniquely boring story. It goes beyond boring. And if you call it boring, you just have a low attention span. It couldn't possibly be the bad writing. My disdain for Chainsaw Man, Blue Lock, and Toradora is well documented, but all of them are better at writing a plot than Frieren. The biggest sin a story can commit is being boring, which is the reason I'd rather watch any of these shows over Frieren. As bad as they are, at least I'm not falling asleep from boredom. Plot development this bad is only possible through actively striving for it. It's like the writer said, how can we make this as boring as possible? Viewers generally like this method of analysis when I was using it on FMA, JoJo's, and JJK, so don't change your mind now that Frieren's getting exposed. It's mind-boggling that I see videos putting Demon Slayer and Frieren in the same title or thumbnail. Demon Slayer is decent compared to battle manga, but nearly everything looks like gold when compared to beyond boring. In conclusion, the sleep medication of a show is boring because of its perplexingly poor plot development.